Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about this View segment where they discuss the holidays, Thanksgiving in particular, and whether or not it is okay or acceptable or even commendable to cast your family members asunder due to the fact that they voted for the wrong candidate. And of course, in their minds, the wrong candidate is the evil orange man, Donald J. Trump, and apparently voting for him is such a grievous insult, such a grave crime, that you need to be booted from the Thanksgiving table, or they need to remove themselves from their own families, which I find to be cult-like behavior. Now, we're going to get into this. I'm going to explain this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
Turns out every holiday season, political talk can be a tough topic to get into. But given the results of last week's election, Yale psychiatrist Dr. Amanda Calhoun suggested to Joy Reid that some people should sit this one out.
So right off the top, they end up bringing in a Yale psychiatrist to tell you that it's okay and acceptable for you to be an absolute baby, whiny brat related to Thanksgiving. And I think it's important for you guys to understand that although Thanksgiving has essentially been celebrated since the founding of this nation, it first became a national holiday in 1863. Now, you guys who are history buffs might know that 1863 was the middle of the American Civil War. So this holiday came into fruition at the most tense time in our nation's history, far beyond where we are right now when Americans were killing Americans in the deadliest conflict in American history. So I just want you guys to understand that context. I want you guys to understand that that's what we're talking about as the backdrop for this great holiday, which, by the way, is one of the best holidays the entire year that I look forward to each and every year.
There is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me.
Now, look, I want to make something 100% clear. And I'm not saying that you need to be forced to be around your family, especially if you're a horrible person like these two people, the Yale professor and Joy Reid, because honestly, you will likely bring down the mood and ruin the holiday with your attendance. And obviously, there are limits, there are thresholds to where family members and friends can do stuff that is unacceptable. However, and the reason I brought up the origins of this being a national holiday being during the Civil War is because this is not the Civil War times. This is not the most stressful times in American history or anything of the sort. And the argument that you're threatening somebody's livelihood.
So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood.
Which I believe she's trying to say their life, which I will get into in a little bit later, by voting for the evil orange man is crazy and absurd. I just want to point out for everybody out there in the audience who might have forgotten, Trump will be the 47th president, but he was already the 45th president. People have already made it through a Trump presidency, or at least everybody who is of age, who is an adult, who is able to make the decision on where they will go or not go for Thanksgiving, has lived through this. They were totally fine. Everybody relax, everybody calm down. But this is a perfect example, by the way, of how you can teach at an Ivy League university and still be incredibly stupid, still be incredibly dumb, still be incredibly self-centered, and in fact, you probably would have to be somebody who teaches at an Ivy League university, or at least attend an Ivy League university, to talk like this, because it's objectively nonsensical. I don't know how everybody rolls in terms of Thanksgiving with their families, but you know what I don't do when I have my family over for Thanksgiving? Bring up topics specifically to argue with them in order to make it a bad time. This is a great holiday. I actually enjoy cooking Thanksgiving dinner, where you put in the effort, you put in the work, and you are joined and you share a meal, and it's a wonderful experience. Why would I want to spoil that with politics? Like, I don't understand these people who cannot separate political talk from their friends and family. It's irrational behavior. It's nonsensical in every way. And yes, I'm somebody who works in politics and cares about it, but I'm not going to hate people that I know personally based on how they vote.
It's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood, and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me.
I mean, again, I played that clip of her saying livelihood when I think she means like life threatening, which is ridiculous and absurd. But if the standard is voting in such a way that you threaten the livelihood of people, then I have a grievance against every Democratic voter who consistently votes to raise taxes, to hurt businesses, in which, by the way, I pay a ton of money in taxes and I'm technically a small business owner. That's what this YouTube channel is. So if I were to cut off each and every person in my personal life that I ever came across for voting for a Democrat at the state, local, or even the federal level, I wouldn't have a lot of people around me. I choose to surround myself with people who don't really care about politics for two reasons. One, these are just the people that I met in my day-to-day lives. These are my family for the most part. But in addition to that, these are also people that I can ask what they know, what actually gets through the political world to the normies about political topics. And to me, this is almost an invaluable resource because you will be surprised what people think about candidates that don't pay attention to any mass media and are only going based on what they come across by osmosis or in their social media feeds. But let's get into the women of The View and their takes on this situation.
So, yeah. What do you think?
So first of all, I didn't realize that in this particular segment, because I had only seen clips of it before, that the audience would give an ovation to that they'd applaud that absolutely disgusting, anti-American, and honestly cult-like take from the Yale professor to Joy Reid. It is horrible where people are at in the United States of America, and I would just point out for everybody out there in the audience, I have left-wing people in my family too, seriously left-wing people who are damaged by COVID that still wear the mask and all that. And in fact, at one point in time when I was staying at a relative's home who was obsessed with COVID, I coincidentally got COVID and I was asked to leave in order to get a hotel room. Now, do I hate this person? Do I not love them? Am I angry at them? Absolutely not. First and foremost, they're one of the few people who actually are immunocompromised, and that was a serious concern for them. Secondly, this is a relative that I owe a lot to in terms of my life. When I was a child and my mom didn't have any money, this is the relative that put us up in their home for years in order for my mom to go to school, for her to get a job, and for her to be successful, which set me up on the path to be successful myself. So am I going to let somebody getting a little crazy, a little bit misinformed related to COVID, a little bit over panicked, ruin a relationship? No, because one hotel night stay is not worth it for me to lose a family member that I care about dearly, that has obviously shown me that despite the fact that they're one of these CNN or MSNBC Democrats, that they're a good person outside of politics. One of my least favorite phrases is the personal is political or the political is personal, because in reality, you can have good, honest, moral people that just disagree with you in terms of politics. They're off-put by the evil orange man. Maybe they're off-put by Kamala Harris and all the awful things about her. That is understandable. The idea that you can't shut up and share a meal with them, I find to be incredibly weak, cowardly, cultly, and disgusting.
I think everybody needs to do what's right for them. You know, I think you need to look into yourself, and if going to a family gathering or with friends where it's going to stress you out, then don't go. I'll tell you, Al has 5 children.
Your husband.
My husband has 5 children. Most of them or their spouses voted for Trump. The problem is those 5 children have 13 grandchildren he refuses not to see and not to be part of their lives. And so for our family, I mean, he has told them, I will not let politics split up our family. Al and I voted for Kamala. Others didn't. He is going to see his grandchildren come hell or high water. That's the choice that works for him.
So I will say, maybe I'm a little bit too old school. Maybe I'm a little bit too angry on this particular topic because, again, I love Thanksgiving. In fact, I'm really genuinely thinking about posting a video of how to make a Thanksgiving turkey absolutely deliciously. By the way, without deep frying it. I don't know why people are so obsessed with that. But the fact of the matter is, she's talking about how, oh, if it's going to stress you out, then definitely don't do it. And obviously, I'm not saying that it is mandatory for you to be subjected to stress, But sometimes in life, you can't avoid stresses. The idea that you have a right to never feel stressed or challenged or whatever is ridiculous and absurd. Sure, you can do that, but you're going to cut yourself out from a whole host of people. Now, eventually she comes to the correct conclusion, which is it really worth, over a political disagreement, to cut off not only the person you have the agreement with, but their spouse, their children? That seems absurd to Ana Navarro, so I at least give her a smidgen of credit right there. But to be 100% clear, it's not worth it at all. Just deal with it. Again, all parties involved need to stop having these political conversations at Thanksgiving. I'm so sick of politicians putting out Thanksgiving guides for how to talk to your right-wing uncle or whatever. Just shut up and enjoy the food. Have a good time. Say what you're grateful for. Watch a little football. I don't give a damn. And make the turkey recipe as I tell you to make it. And again, by the way, just a little hint for you guys out there in the audience. The secret to a good turkey, you get one under 14 pounds. That's how you do it. And if you have a lot more people there, get 2 turkeys under 14 pounds, because you know what? The collagen bonds, they don't get bigger or more when the turkey gets bigger, so you're ending up reducing your moisture by going for the bigger bird, and it's a trap. Again, not trying to talk about Thanksgiving recipe. I may put one out. You guys tell me in the comments if you want one, but overall, my position on this is shut up and eat Thanksgiving. It's delicious.
I'm all for healthy boundaries, but I tend to think mashed potatoes are the great equalizer. Like, you don't want to spend Thanksgiving by yourself because you can't set politics aside. Like, I find that every day in every job I've worked in social circles I've run in, I've been around people who have different politics than me, and it's never gotten in the way of having friendships with them. I wouldn't have had any friends.
So here we have the next person, and I want to point out that this is supposed to be the token conservative on this particular show, which is funny because Ana Navarro is also supposed to be the token conservative on this show, but she's moved so far to the left in recent years, they had to get another fake conservative, but at least she has the correct position on this. Now they're going to pivot to somebody else who starts off okay, but then of course we end up getting into the, oh, I have to take stock of how I feel and what I think, when the answer is shut up and eat the turkey. Shut your face and put food in your face after you shut it and then reopen it.
Any holidays if I had to only pick the ones where everyone agreed with me. And so now there are times,
Max
and
wouldn't be with you.
I check in with myself and say, am I up for this? Because I also know struggling with mental health. There are times I'm not, and that's okay. You step away, but it will never be the defining point, because toxic personalities don't have political affiliations. It's a personality trait that sucks, and we all are related to people like that. So whatever your reason is, I would never let my politics be the reason I don't show up to see my family.
So right here, this lady, I don't know her name, they always have one blonde lady on The View. She ends up saying, look, toxic personalities don't have a political tribe, and I totally agree with her. After she said the mental stresses and manage your mental health and blah, blah, blah. Again, shut up and eat the turkey. But in addition to that, you can also see them cut to Sunny Hostin, and she's pissed off. Now, Sunny Hostin has an unbroken streak of horrible takes, disgusting takes, ridiculous takes. In fact, when she was confronted with the border counties that voted for the evil orange man over Kamala Harris, even though they clearly and obviously moved so much due to the border issue, and these people, by the way, are likely to be of Mexican descent. It is the most Hispanic county in the entire country, 97% Latino in that particular county, right on the border with Mexico. Sunny Hostin decided to say this.
And finally, we talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
So-
and they were begging people to care about it for years. We
Misogyny
need to
and
take some
sexism,
lessons.
that's what that
The
was.
lessons are not
Knock,
misogyny.
knock.
Yeah, again, unsurprising that that's the take from her. But what is she going to say related to this topic? What is she going to say about cutting off your family members and being angry at them because they dare disagree with you?
Because they won't always be there.
I'm going to disagree. I completely understand her point, because I really do feel that this candidate, President-elect Trump, is just a different type of candidate. From the things he's said and the things he's done and the things he will do, it's more of a moral issue for me. And I think it's more of a moral issue for other people. We're just,
So, of course, we have Sunny Hostin coming down with the absolute bad take about how it's more of a moral issue for her because, she's so much more moral than you. Again, look at the videos that I've done where she will take the most guilty criminal of all time and try to get him out of prison due to the fact that that criminal is a black person and the victim in that particular crime is a white person. Again, we're talking about, I believe, the Cape Cod murder. Again, link in the description to that full video. That guy is so unbelievably and absurd absurdly guilty, yet Sunny Hostin goes out and advocates for him and talks about how his unbelievably stupid story is somehow believable. And then they play the call, I have it in that video, of her with this guy, and nothing he's saying makes any sense at all. But again, this is Sunny Hostin morally flexing on you.
I would say it was different when, let's say, Bush got elected. You know, you may not have agreed with his policies, but you didn't feel like he was a deeply flawed person, deeply flawed by character, deeply flawed in morality.
So this is something I find to be incredibly annoying that a lot of Democrats do, which is the George Bush nostalgia. First and foremost, when he was running for president, when he was running for re-election, these are the same people that called him a Nazi and all these different various things. However, in addition to that, George Bush also had a bunch of crazy policies that are far more immoral than anything the evil orange man did, despite the fact that he ran as a compassionate conservative. Again, Iraq War, torture, warrantless wiretapping, the Patriot Act, all these different various things that George Bush did, not to mention the fact that the economy crashed under his watch due to the fact that he was incentivizing Wall Street to give out all these crazy loans. The bailouts, by the way, started under Bush right after that. And we're going to pretend that, oh, it's not the same as the evil orange man because the evil orange man says crazy things. Now, obviously, that's true. Obviously, you can feel free to dislike the evil orange man, but the idea that the way forward for the Republican Party is to go in the direction of George Bush, or as Kamala Harris was doing, the Cheneys, is absurd in every possible way. I mean, these are the same people that complain about absolute power being channeled in the executive branch based on their misreading of that immunity statute or that immunity ruling from the Supreme Court, but nobody believes in absolute power in the executive more than the Cheneys, more than George W. Bush. In fact, Congressman Dick Cheney actually went on record on the House floor when Richard Nixon was being impeached because he was one of the few people in the entire country in government that were backing the idea that when the president does something, even if that thing is illegal, it's not illegal. That's Dick Cheney. That's the Cheneys. Those are the people being celebrated by The View, while at the same time, they're telling you that you happen to be immoral. Again, Whoopi Goldberg was suggesting that Liz Cheney become the Attorney General, the head of the CIA, or the head of the FBI. Absurd in every possible way.
But you got to admit, they're very different figures. I mean, you know, you along with Milley and along with John Kelly warned us about how deeply flawed he was as a candidate. And so I think when people feel that someone voted not only against their families, but against them and against people that they loved, I think it's okay to take a beat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The evil orange man voters did not vote against your family or people that you loved or anything of the sort. On top of that, I want to point out that Sunny Hostin is a multimillionaire. Everybody on this show is a multimillionaire. The idea that the evil orange man's presidency negatively impacts her is ridiculous and absurd. In addition to that, just for no reason, I'm going to remind you that when Sunny Hostin did a DNA journey, one of the things that she found out was that her family were slave owners, and she had this very awkward reaction to that I'm going to play for you so you could laugh at Sunny Hostin.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, you know, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah.
Now again, it needs to be emphasized that not only was Sunny Hostin's family slave owners, but in addition to that, they actually moved from Spain to Curacao when slavery was abolished in Spain, and then they moved from Curacao to Puerto Rico when slavery was abolished in Curacao. So they're not only slave owners, but they were so addicted to the practice that they would dodge and weave abolitionists throughout the history. That is the guilt that Sunny Hostin is carrying around while she lectures you about your families and your morality. Again, Sunny Hostin, from me to you, shut up and eat the turkey. Shut up and eat the stuffing. Shut up and eat the pumpkin pie.
Like him to respect the voters.
Yeah,
If it meant not seeing
I
your children?
appreciate the voters, but I will say,
There's some music underscoring what Whoopi Goldberg is saying, so I'm actually going to just give you a summation of it, which is, what about if you have the gays in your family? What about the gays? What about the gays? What about the gays? And I will just bring up this point, because Sunny Hostin just said George W. Bush, not immoral at all whatsoever. Well, guess what the strategy was for the 2004 presidential election? In the swing states, the Republicans got gay marriage on the ballot so that people could come out, vote against gay marriage, and then vote for George W. Bush. They used that as their strategy to secure the previous popular vote victory for the Republican Party in the last 30 years. So you're telling me that, oh, Donald Trump, evil orange man, the guy who held up the LGBT flag at the Republican National Convention, by the way, he's so bad, he's so immoral, but unlike George W. Bush, which is just a disagreement, while at the same time, you have Whoopi Goldberg saying, well, I can't have dinner with people who would say that my little gay kid can't have the same rights, which again, they would consider gay marriage the same rights. Again, these people have no standards, they have no ethics, they have no morals at all whatsoever. They just have orange man bad, Trump bad, delusional kind of thinking, and it's embarrassing in my opinion. Listen, I know that oftentimes I leave room for disagreements and I say, hey, you know what? Put them disagreements down in the comments and I will evaluate them with all the care and love that your disagreement deserves. But not in this case, not in this particular instance. If you want to ruin Thanksgiving, you are my enemy. You are the real enemy of the people, not the press, not the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party, not the deep state. You out there in the audience that want to ruin Thanksgiving. It is an amazing holiday. All the foods combo so well together. It's the one time a year where I eat pumpkin pie, and yes, I know I could buy pumpkin pie year-round, but I don't do it. I like to save it for Thanksgiving because that is a special moment. If you're trying to ruin Thanksgiving, you're trying to ruin me. I am against you. I will come out against you. I will unite the world, unite the country against you, and Canada, you're dumb for having your Thanksgiving holiday in October. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media. Support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about The View being wrong on Thanksgiving and everybody who disagrees with me being wrong on Thanksgiving. Till next time.